I'm not the one to react and overreact to pro days and personal workouts and things of that nature. I like the tape to speak for itself. I like the tape to be the tape. But man, that performance there. What's up, YouTube? Boy, back once again with another sport topic. And today we're gonna talk some football, Houston, Texas football. Today we're gonna talk about what quarterbacks were the most impressive in the 2023 NFL Combine. We're gonna break down. Before we get in there, like I'm telling you before, if you liking the content, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you comment on the channel. Make sure you watching all the videos. You comment on the videos. You sharing all the videos on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share them all on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. Hey man, get this channel growing and growing. It's about to be draft. It's about to be free agency. Man, I need this channel to grow and grow. So like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the channel, watch all the videos, comment all the videos, share all the videos, share this channel. Let's get this channel growing and growing and growing. Now I know I'm like a week off, but there was some very, very, very impressive performances at the combine, and also some performances that leave a lot to be desired as well. And like I said, I'm not a person good or bad, good, bad, and indifferent, overreact or underreact to these workouts, because I'm like, okay, I'll let the tape speak for itself, because like, hey, if they playing, if they it's good, hey, it's all through the air. It's all through the air. It's all in shorts and t-shirts. I let the game be the game, because sometimes, and also sometimes when people don't look as good as they looked on tape, sometimes people are just gamers. They just straight up gamers. But that performance that both AR-15 had and the performance that CJ had, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. They made some money. They really did. What we knew about AR was what we already seen. I mean, a guy who runs a legit 4-4. What he ran, like a 4-4-1, if I'm not mistaken. Like for 4-4-1, if I'm not mistaken. Just a big, strong guy, strong arm, fast, doing high jumps and all just verticals, leaps, and all these type of things. Just is just extremely athletic guy, and it's going to be extremely athletic quarterback. Just extremely athletic quarterback, strong arm. When he was doing the passes, doing the deep ball passes, I mean, it was a couple. I mean, like it's a couple that were dropped. It was a couple of dropped. It was one that the receiver didn't run all the way. Like the receiver kind of slowed up and then tried to speed up and then didn't get to him. Like all his passes were good except his last one, his very last deep pass he threw. His very last one, it was a completion, but he let it hang in the air too much. And on the NFL, that's a pick. That's a pick from a safety all day. Safety's gonna pick that off all day. Corner's gonna be able to get their hands on that ball as well. But safeties, that's a pick all day long. That's an interception all day long. So he has to work on that. Those are the issues with him. Like, yeah, he has great plays and great performances, but he also leaves something to be desired, because he's not fully polished. And if he could fully get polished, if he could fully get polished, he could be something extremely special. He could be something extremely special. Will Levis had a horrible pro day, in my personal opinion. I mean, a combine. It showed why he's the fourth best quarterback, fifth best quarterback if you want to count Hendon Hooker. But Hendon Hooker's not going to go in the first round. But out of the guys who go in the first round, he should be the last quarterback off the board, because nothing about him was impressive. Nothing about him was impressive. And he talk about, oh, he has a rocket, he wants to show it off. Well, where he show it off at? Where he showed off at? I didn't see anything that he did that were throws that can't nobody else do. For somebody like CJ or Bryce, who have weaker arms than Will Levis, it's not that his arm was. There's the throws that he made is not those that both CJ and Bryce could make. Now I wish that Bryce was out there. I'm glad that he measured in. He came in, I think, with 5'10", a little hair over 5'10". Came in over 200 pounds. Came in at 204. Got a decent sized hands. So So really it's just the height of the frame. They put the weight. I believe the reason why he did not throw. I believe it's two reasons why he did not throw. I believe that he didn't throw because the reason why, one main reason why, because he did put on that weight. I don't think he's going to be trying to play at that weight. So he wanted to get some of that weight off before his pro day, because he's going to throw his pro day. Get some of that weight off so he'd be able to be more fluent in his pro day, and also because in a pro day, it's more of a control setting by the quarterback. You're doing scripted plays that you decide to play, that you decide to script. You running with your receivers and your backs, not just random receivers and backs who they're throwing to you how they doing at the combine, just random receivers and random backs. And you know exactly who they are. You know exactly where to put the ball. You know how this receiver likes the ball. Woo woo. And you gonna do the throws that you are comfortable with. And if it's a throw that you're not comfortable with, you won't make that throw. The combine, you're doing whatever they tell you to do. Whatever the itinerary, whatever the script is, the itinerary that they have on their sheet of how they want the football to be thrown, that's how you're going to throw it. So if it's a throw that you're really not comfortable, it's like it's not a throw that's really in your wheelhouse that you're not comfortable making it, you're not going to put that in your set. You're not going to put that in the rotation. You're going to throw the passes you excel at. So I believe that those are two of the reasons why Bryce did not work out. However you feel about that is however you feel about that. But I believe those are two reasons. One of those two reasons, if not both. He wanted to be a more controlled environment with his receivers and his scripts, and also I don't think he wanted to actually throw at that weight at 204. Now when it comes to CJ had just beautiful passes, on the money passes, pure pocket passing, just sitting back in the pocket and able to throw the football. And this is in his wheelhouse. This whole set, we knew that this was something that he was going to be extraordinary at, because what was the Elite 11 when he was in high school? He was the MVP with Bryce being on the team. He was the MVP because this is something that he excels at. This is his wheelhouse. That he's a quarterback that's perfectly built for 7-on-7. Like this is what he likes to do. He's gonna put passes on the money. He put them right there where they're supposed to be. The ball placement, throwing from different platforms, especially not getting no pressure. So the one thing that I did understand from this, one thing that I gathered from this, whoever takes CJ, now we know the whole thing with Carolina jumping up to number 1 now. Whoever takes CJ has to fix that offensive line. They have to make sure that this kid is protected. If this kid is sitting back and able to drop back comfortably and able to pick apart and decipher the defense, he's going to be a multi-time yard champion. He's going to lead the league in yards multiple times. He's going to lead the league in touchdowns multiple times. He's going to have high QBRs multiple times, high quarterback rating and completion percentage a lot of the time. He's going to be leading the league or top 5. I do like that. He's going to be top 5 in yards, touchdowns, QB rating, QBR, total QBR, and completion percentage a lot over his career. If you give him the correct offensive line and you give him weapons, but not like how people want to use. That's the whole thing at Ohio State. He got all these receivers. Now I don't mean like that. I don't mean you got to give him just the name brand. You got to give him the Jettas and the Jamar Chases and the Devontae Adams, and I'm not saying which is all those the Tyree. I'm not saying that he doesn't need those. I mean, if you give him those receivers, good. But I think you need to give him the 3 level of receivers. You need to give him 2 outsides, a true big receiver who could jump up and go get the football at high point the football, go get it at any cost. A down the field speed threat receiver, down the field receiver that's a threat, a speed receiver, and also need to get him a security blanket slot, and then it's actually 4 levels, and then get him a safety valve tight end. They don't have to be the best receiver, the second best receiver, the third best receiver, or the best tight end. But if you get those elements, a big body receiver to go up and get the football, a receiver who could go downfield that is a fast guy, a guy who's in the slot, and a tight end. If you get those guys, Like I said, don't have to be the name brand, the top of the echelon guys. I know people say, well, if you get those guys, any quarterback will succeed. That is true. I will give you that. That's what I'm saying. They don't have to be the type. I'm just saying those type of receivers. But the offensive line thing, now the offensive line one is the crucial one. The offensive line one, I give you that. Because if he can sit back and pick apart, like I said, CJ will lead the league and be top 5 in the league in all those categories: yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, quarterback rating. He will be top 5 in the league a lot of the time of his career with those elements, because the way he can sit back, and draw back, and just a pure pocket passer and decipher a defense like a. I don't want to do it to him. He could pick apart a defense kind of like Kurt Warner could. I don't want to do it because I think that's that. I mean, Kurt Warner is a multi-time MVP, been with 3. He won 1 Super Bowl, been to 3, 2 with the Rams and 1 with the Cardinals, and is a Hall of Famer. And I think also CJ is more athletic than him. And who has a better arm? I don't know. Like, it's not a complete comparison. I'm just saying the way he could just he can rack up yards like that. Now, will he be like not Garoppolo, but what's the quarterback name? Kirk Cousins, who could get a whole bunch of yards, but can't do anything in the postseason. I don't believe that's the case, because the biggest thing about Kirk Cousins, the biggest knock on Kirk Cousins, is that he doesn't show up in big games, and we just seen it. That we just seen it a couple months ago. Him showing up in a big game. He showed up when his team needed the most. He showed up in a big game. He showed up in the bowl game last year against was it Utah? I think it was Utah in the Rose Bowl last year. The bowl game that they won last year. I think it was Utah. Showed up in that game. Now, I know people want to bring up the Michigans, and I get that. I understand that he never beat Michigan. That's not good. But Peyton Manning never beat Florida and Tennessee. I don't know if Tom Brady ever beat Ohio State when he was in Michigan. I could be wrong. Aaron Rodgers never beat UCLA or USC when he was at Cal. So there is that. And like I said, it's not like Michigan was bummed. Michigan made the college playoffs back-to-back years and won the Big Ten back-to-back years and made the college playoffs back-to-back years. So it is that. So I do think that CJ earned him some money, and I think that's part of the reason why Carolina jumped up to number 1, because they looking at what CJ did, and they're looking at what AR did, because AR just jumps off the charts on everything he did. AR just, out of the blue, just jumped off the charts of everything. And then CJ confirmed everything that you've seen on the film. Everything you've seen on the film and his stats. He confirmed it with his performance at the combine. Now I know it's different. He's not under duress. He's not reading the defense. And that's the reason why I don't like putting a lot of stock in the combine and the pro days and things like that, because there's no defense. There's no pressure. You're not reading nothing. Like, it's very easy and simple. So that's why I have an issue and a problem when Will Levis doesn't go out there and goes out there. Will Levis should have had the best pro day, according to Mel Kiper. Will Levis was banged up all season. He should be healthy now. Will Levis ain't had no team. He ain't had no players. Everything was on his back. He had to carry everything. Okay. Now there's no game situation. You're not carrying the back. You're not making bad decisions because you're just trying to make plays. Because again, that's the reason why he threw a lot of interceptions. Like, I've never, ever seen somebody during a pre-draft explaining and trying to justify someone having interceptions. Some justifying interceptions. When Deshaun Watson came out of the draft, I think he led college football in interceptions like his last year. And they didn't justify it. They said he becomes victim of the 50-50 ball. He's gonna have to clear that up in the NFL. Like, that's what people say, that because Clemson throws up the 50-50 ball, which means it's a 50-50 chance that your receiver or the defender gets the ball. So you're throwing the ball up in a risky situation, and that's the way Clemson liked to play the offense. He became victim of that 50-50 ball, and that's the reason why he had picks. He needs to clean it up in the NFL. That's what they would say. He needs to clean it up in the NFL. But with Will Levis, they say Oh, he's just trying to make a play. His team is down. He's just trying to make a play. Who cares if he makes it, throws an interception? Who cares if he throws another interception? Who cares if he throws another interception? Who cares because you're trying to make a play? That's the only time I've ever heard a quarterback get an excuse for throwing interceptions. Was when with Levis. So you should have no excuse because you're not trying to make a play because there's no defense to read. You're not behind in the score because it's not a game. There's no defense for you to read, so you shouldn't be confused. You're not hurt. You got better receivers that you're throwing to better receivers because you're throwing to receivers who should be going to the NFL versus the guys who you've been playing with who've been so trash, according to Mel Kiper. So you should have ran away with the pro day. With the combine. You should have an all-star performance outside of, the running, the running and the physical things that AR did because that's different. But you didn't. You didn't at all. So, again, the fourth, fifth, maybe sixth or seventh best quarterback. Because I agree, shout out to my boy Wink. I agree with Wink. I'd rather take Stetson Bennett over Will Levis. So I think Stetson Bennett. I don't even think Stetson Bennett is gonna be a good. Like Stetson Bennett might be Brock Purdy. Like if he's lucky, could be maybe a Brock Purdy type. I would definitely take Stetson Bennett as a backup. Will Levis is to me. I think Will Levis is a third round pick. I think he should be a third round pick. I think he should be. He's going to go in the top 20, guaranteed. He's going to be a top 20 pick. He shouldn't be, but he's going to be. Part of the reason why is because of the nature of the position, and also because I believe Hendon Hooker got hurt. If Hendon Hooker doesn't get hurt, I believe Hendon Hooker is rated as the third or fourth best quarterback in this draft, but either in front of AR or right behind AR, somewhere in that mix. But he's going to be in front of Will Levis, and it is what it is. But like I say, both CJ and AR had a great performance. I guess you have to give AR the bigger because of what he did, all the physical things he was able to do. It jumps off the page. Who knows? That might be, Carolina might want to pull that trigger because they seen that, or they might want to pull the trigger because of what they seen CJ do. Thing is, Bryce did not work out. So I just find it just kind of interesting that they made the trade a week after the combine, after those two performances, and Bryce not having a performance. It's just interesting. But again, they are coming all the way back from 9, so they had to do something, and to guarantee it, they jumped up to 1. So it is what it is. But I think they both had great performances. I think that CJ, if he's in the right situation, CJ could definitely do some damage in the NFL. Definitely can. AR, if you can get those things together, AR probably has the big high ceiling. Like I said, I wish we would have seen Bryce in this. But again, we seen Bryce tape. We know what Bryce can do. Just wish he was out there competing with the rest of the guys.